The rain wasn't falling hard, just enough to make everything look guilty. It glazed the windshield, blurred the streetlights into smeared halos, and turned the parking lot of Lakeside Animal Hospital into a slick mirror of red brake lights and anxious decisions. The kind of rain that didn't announce itself as a storm, but still made you feel like something could go wrong. Tasha Monroe pulled into the nearest spot she could find and shut off the engine. For a second, she just sat there with both hands on the steering wheel, listening. Not to the rain, to her dog. Coda lay on the passenger seat with his head angled toward her, his chest rising too fast. He was a mixed-breed rescue, part shepherd, part something else, all heart. Normally, Coda was the type of dog who wagged at strangers and leaned into every kind word like he was collecting proof that the world could be good. Tonight, he didn't wag. His eyes were open but unfocused, as if he was looking through her instead of at her. Every breath sounded a little wrong, small, shallow pulls of air that made Tasha's stomach twist. She reached over and touched his neck gently. "Hey," she whispered. "I'm here." Coda blinked once. Slow. Tasha grabbed her purse and the folded papers from her cup holder, printouts she'd made even though the vet's office said everything was on file. She had learned the hard way that on file sometimes meant lost the moment it was inconvenient. She checked the time on her phone. 6:17 p.m. They had a 6:30 appointment. An emergency add-on, squeezed in after she'd called twice and refused to accept the cheerful suggestion that she monitor him overnight. Coda's gums had looked pale. His appetite had vanished. He had tried to stand and then sat back down like gravity had gotten heavier. Tasha didn't do monitor when her gut was screaming. She unbuckled Coda's harness and spoke softly. "We're going inside, okay? Just hold on." Coda made the smallest movement, like he wanted to comply but didn't know how. Tasha slid one arm under his chest, the other beneath his hips, and lifted. He was heavier than she remembered, not because he'd gained weight, but because fear made everything weigh more. The moment she stepped out into the rain, cold air hit her face and she tightened her grip. She hurried toward the glass doors under the bright blue sign that read Lakeside Animal Hospital, Emergency and Wellness. Inside, the lobby was warm and smelled like disinfectant, wet fur, and the faint sweetness of dog treats that tried to mask stress. A white couple sat on a bench holding a trembling little terrier wrapped in a pink blanket. A teenage boy scrolled on his phone while his white mother whispered at him to look concerned. A cat in a carrier yowled at the ceiling like it had been personally betrayed. Tasha walked straight to the front desk. Behind it sat a white receptionist with a high ponytail and long acrylic nails tapping rhythmically against a keyboard. Her name tag said Melissa in cheerful purple letters. Melissa looked up, eyes flicking quickly over Tasha's soaked jacket, her tense face, the dog in her arms. "What can I do for you?" Melissa asked. Her voice was bright in a way that didn't match the room. "I have a 6:30 appointment," Tasha said, keeping her tone steady. "Monroe, for my dog, Coda. He's not doing well." Coda's head sagged slightly. Tasha adjusted her hold. Melissa turned to her computer. "Last name?" "Monroe," Tasha repeated. "Tasha Monroe." Melissa's fingers moved fast, clicking and typing. Her eyes narrowed at the screen. Then she stopped. "I don't see you," she said. Tasha blinked once. "It should be there. I spoke to someone an hour ago. They confirmed." Melissa clicked again, harder, as if the keyboard needed discipline. "Nope, nothing under Monroe." Tasha's heartbeat stayed controlled, but her skin went hot. "Could it be under the pet's name? Coda?" Melissa's eyes lifted briefly, then dropped back to the screen with a faint sigh. "We don't file by pet name." "Okay," Tasha said, forcing calm into her voice. "Could it be under my phone number?" Melissa pursed her lips as if Tasha were asking for something complicated. "What number?" Tasha gave it. Melissa typed, paused, and then shook her head like she'd expected to be right. "No appointment," Melissa said. The words sounded too clean for the mess in Tasha's arms. Coda's breath hitched. He let out a small whine, barely audible. Tasha leaned forward. "He needs to be seen," she said. "If the appointment isn't in the system, fine. But I called. And he's sick." Melissa's tone remained bright, but something sharpened underneath it. "If you don't have an appointment, you'll have to wait for an opening." "How long?" Tasha asked. Melissa shrugged. "Could be hours." Tasha stared at her. "He doesn't have hours." Melissa's eyes flicked to Coda briefly, then away, like looking too closely might obligate her. "We have emergencies," Melissa said, "but those are triaged." "This is an emergency," Tasha replied, voice still controlled, but now carrying more weight. "His breathing is off. His gums are pale. He's lethargic." Melissa sat back slightly, a subtle retreat. "I can't just put you in." Tasha's mouth went tight. "Who did I speak with on the phone?" Melissa blinked. "I don't know." "Can you check call logs?" Tasha asked. Melissa laughed once, very small, not friendly. "Ma'am, we don't do that." Tasha heard the shift in the room, not volume, but attention. People were listening now, not because they cared about a dog, but because tension was entertainment when it wasn't yours. The white couple with the terrier glanced up. The teenage boy stopped scrolling long enough to stare. Tasha adjusted Coda again. Her arms were starting to ache. Fear made the ache sharper. "Okay," Tasha said, slow and deliberate. "Then I'll show you the confirmation." She reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. Her hands didn't shake because she had trained them not to. She opened her email and found the message she'd been waiting on earlier. There it was. Appointment confirmed. 6:30 p.m. Lakeside Animal Hospital patient. Coda owner, Tasha Monroe. Reason, urgent visit. She angled the screen toward Melissa. Melissa glanced for half a second, just long enough to register that Tasha had something official, then leaned back like the phone screen was contaminated. "That could be automated," Melissa said quickly. Tasha stared at her. "It came from your office." Melissa's jaw tightened. "Emails don't mean the doctor accepted it." Tasha felt the anger flare again, sharp and immediate, and she forced it down before it could become weaponized against her. "Then who can accept it?" Tasha asked. "Because my dog is struggling to breathe." Melissa's eyes flicked to the hallway door behind her, the one marked treatment, as if she hoped someone else would take ownership of the situation. "We're very busy," Melissa said. "You'll have to wait like everyone else." Tasha nodded once. "Everyone else has a dog wrapped in a blanket," she said quietly, not insulting, just factual. "Mine is getting worse in my arms." That was when Melissa finally looked at Coda properly. Coda's tongue was slightly pale, his breathing was shallow. His eyes were open, but he wasn't tracking movement the way he normally would. Melissa's expression tightened, then reset into annoyance, like empathy was a glitch she didn't want to admit. "I can put you on the wait list," Melissa said. Tasha leaned closer. "No," she said. "You can pull up his record." Melissa frowned. "I can't pull up a record without an appointment." Tasha's voice stayed calm, but it sharpened like a blade being unsheathed. "He has a microchip." Melissa blinked. "What?" "A microchip," Tasha repeated. "Registered. It's tied to my name. You can search him by chip number. It'll pull up his profile." Melissa looked at her like she'd just spoken a foreign language. "That's not how—" "Yes, it is," Tasha said, still polite, still steady. "Every time Coda comes in, they scan his chip to confirm identity. It's in your system." Melissa's nostrils flared slightly. "Even if he has a chip, that doesn't create an appointment." Tasha swallowed, keeping her face composed. "It will prove he's your patient," she said, "and it will show his owner, and it may show the appointment that you can't find." Melissa looked around the lobby again, as if checking whether anyone was watching. They were. She hated that. With a sharp sigh, Melissa stood up halfway and opened a drawer under the desk. She pulled out a handheld scanner, a small grey device that looked like a remote control for consequences. "Fine," she said. "Let's see. Tasha didn't move closer until Melissa gestured impatiently. "Bring him here." Tasha stepped forward carefully, shifting Coda so Melissa could reach his shoulder blades. Coda didn't resist. That frightened Tasha more than anything else. He was usually so responsive. Melissa waved the scanner over Coda's neck. The device beeped once, then it beeped again, and a string of numbers appeared on the small screen. Melissa's posture changed, subtle but real. She copied the number down with 2 fingers, as if touching it too much might involve her. She sat back down and typed the microchip number into her computer. For a moment, nothing happened. Melissa's lips tightened with satisfaction, like she was about to be right again. Then the screen refreshed. Melissa went still. Her eyes scanned rapidly. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. Tasha watched her face, waiting for the truth to land. "What?" Tasha asked, voice steady. Melissa swallowed. "It pulled up a record." Tasha's heart kicked, hard and clean. "Under what name?" Melissa didn't answer immediately. She stared at the screen as if it had betrayed her. "Tasha Monroe," she said finally, quieter. "And the appointment?" Tasha asked. Melissa's fingers moved again, clicking through tabs. Her face changed again, this time in a way she couldn't hide. "It's here," she muttered. 6:30. Urgent visit. Tasha didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She had learned that victories in rooms like this were fragile, and people looked for excuses to punish you for being right. "So we do have an appointment," Tasha said calmly. Melissa's cheeks flushed. "It must have been filed under the microchip profile instead of the front schedule," she said quickly. "It happens." Tasha held her gaze. "It happened the whole time," she replied. "You just didn't look." Melissa's eyes darted up, sharp. "Ma'am." Coda's breathing hitched again, deeper this time, like his chest was struggling to lift. Tasha's focus snapped back to him instantly. "Please," she said, voice low and urgent. "Get a technician. Now." Melissa's expression shifted. Finally, a flicker of alarm that wasn't about being wrong. She grabbed a phone and pressed a button. "Tech to reception," she said, voice faster now. "Urgent." Tasha stepped back from the desk, still holding Coda. Her arms shook now, not from weakness, just from being human under strain. The lobby felt different. People watched with a new kind of attention. The white couple with the terrier looked away, suddenly uncomfortable. The teenage boy's stare softened into something like guilt. Melissa avoided Tasha's eyes completely. From the hallway, footsteps approached quickly. A white veterinary technician in green scrubs appeared, eyes immediately locking onto Coda. "Okay," the tech said, voice brisk and professional. "We're taking him back." Tasha followed as they led her through the door marked "Treatment," the air changing instantly. Less lobby, more emergency, stainless steel, sharp lighting, fast voices. As they moved, Tasha looked back once. Melissa was already seated again, typing, pretending the last 5 minutes had not happened. But it had. A microchip number, tiny, invisible, buried beneath skin, had done what Tasha's words couldn't do at the front desk. It had forced the system to admit Coda existed, that Tasha existed, that the appointment was real, and as the treatment room swallowed them into its bright urgency, Tasha made a quiet promise to herself, one she didn't need to say out loud for it to be true. She would never let someone's no appointment become the reason her dog didn't make it home. The treatment room swallowed sound the moment the door swung shut. The lobby noise, the murmurs, the barking, the subtle judgment of strangers fell away, replaced by sharper things. The metallic clink of instruments, the low hum of machines, the controlled urgency in voices trained to move faster than panic. The technician guided Tasha to an exam table and gently took Coda from her arms. The moment her hands let go, the ache in her shoulders flared, but the relief was worse. Letting go meant trusting people who had just tried to send her away. "Wait!" the tech called out. 68, another voice answered from a scale. A third person appeared, A white veterinarian in her 40s, hair pulled back, eyes already assessing. Her badge read Dr. Collins. "What's going on?" Dr. Collins asked, hands moving as she spoke. "Lethargy, pale gums, rapid breathing," the tech replied. "Owner reports sudden onset." Tasha stepped closer. "He hasn't eaten since this morning. He tried to stand and couldn't. Something's wrong." Dr. Collins nodded, already listening to Coda's chest with a stethoscope. "How long has he been like this?" "About 3 hours," Tasha said. "It got worse fast." Dr. Collins's expression tightened. Not alarm, but focus. "Let's get oxygen on him. Start an IV. Run blood work." The words landed like gravity. Oxygen, IV, blood work. Not wait and see, not monitor overnight. Action. A mask went over Coda's muzzle. He resisted weakly, then stopped. That scared Tasha more than if he'd fought. She folded her arms tightly across her chest to keep from reaching in and disrupting them. Dr. Collins glanced up. "You're his owner?" "Yes." "You did the right thing bringing him in," Dr. Collins said, already turning back to the monitor. "We'll do everything we can." Tasha nodded, swallowing hard. As the tech shaved a small patch of fur and slid a catheter into Coda's leg, Tasha noticed how different the room felt from the front desk. No debate, no suspicion, no questioning whether she belonged there. Inside this room, proof came from bodies, not systems. After a few minutes, Dr. Collins looked back at Tasha. "We're going to take him for imaging and labs. I need you to wait just outside. I'll update you." Tasha hesitated. "Can I stay?" Dr. Collins met her eyes. If he were stable, yes. Right now, we need space to move. Tasha nodded, even though every instinct screamed to stay. The tech guided her into a narrow hallway with plastic chairs and a water cooler that hummed quietly. The door closed again, sealing Coda on the other side. Tasha sat and waited. Minutes stretched into something elastic and cruel. She stared at the scuffed floor tiles, then at the door, then at her hands. They were still trembling now that there was nothing left to hold. She replayed the front desk over and over, every word, every look. No appointment. Emails don't mean anything. You'll have to wait. What if she had waited? The thought made her stomach turn. A man in scrubs walked past and offered a polite nod. A cat carrier rolled by on a cart. Somewhere down the hall, a dog barked sharply, then went quiet. Time moved differently here. Every second felt like it mattered. Finally, footsteps approached. Dr. Collins appeared, her face serious but controlled. "Tasha," she said. Tasha stood so quickly the chair scraped loudly behind her. "Is he—" "He's alive," Dr. Collins said immediately. "And you got him here in time." Tasha's knees went weak with relief she hadn't let herself feel yet. "What is it?" she asked. "We're still confirming," Dr. Collins said, "but it looks like internal bleeding, likely from a ruptured mass on the spleen. It's not uncommon in dogs his age." The words hit hard and fast. Internal bleeding. Ruptured. Surgery. "He needs surgery," Dr. Collins continued. "Tonight." Tasha nodded, tears finally breaking through the control she'd been holding on to since the parking lot. "Do it," she said. "Whatever you need to do." Dr. Collins placed a gentle hand on her arm. "We'll need consent forms and a deposit." "I'll sign," Tasha said. "I'll pay." Dr. Collins studied her for a moment, then nodded. "OK, we'll prep him now." As Dr. Collins turned to leave, Tasha's voice stopped her. "Doctor?" "Yes?" "If I hadn't insisted," Tasha said quietly, "if I'd waited like they told me to, would he have made it?" Dr. Collins didn't soften the truth. "No," she said gently. "Probably not." The hallway seemed to tilt. Dr. Collins let the words sit for a second, then added, "You trusted your instincts. That saved him." When the doctor walked away, Tasha sank back into the chair, breath shaking now that the danger had a name. She pulled out her phone. 3 missed calls from an unknown number. She checked the voicemail. It was the front desk. "Hi, Tasha. This is Melissa at reception," The message said, suddenly polite, suddenly careful. Just calling to confirm that you and Coda were checked in and taken back. Please let us know if you need anything. Tasha stared at the screen. Now they were confirming. Now everything was documented. Now the system agreed with reality. She didn't call back. Instead, she opened her Notes app and typed a single sentence, hands still shaking. Microchip scan at 6:24 p.m. Confirmed appointment and ownership after initial denial. She saved it. Because tonight wasn't just about Coda surviving surgery, it was about knowing, without doubt, that if she hadn't pushed, if she hadn't known exactly what to ask for, if she hadn't insisted on proof that lived under her dog's skin, they would have sent her home, and Coda would have bled quietly while a computer said he didn't exist. The hours after consent blurred into something shapeless and heavy. Tasha lost track of time the way you do when every minute feels borrowed. The surgery doors swallowed Coda, and all that was left was a closed corridor, a clipboard with her signature on it, and the steady hum of machines that didn't care how badly she wanted answers. She sat in the same chair, spine straight, hands folded in her lap because if she let them move too much, they might shake. Around her, the clinic continued its quiet, controlled chaos. A technician passed with bloodwork results tucked under one arm. A vet murmured instructions into a headset. Somewhere, a dog barked sharply, then stopped. No one spoke to her for a long time. Tasha watched the clock on the wall advance 1 red second at a time. She memorized the pattern in the floor tiles. She replayed the receptionist's voice again and again, not out of anger now, but disbelief at how close she'd come to being turned away. No appointment. The words felt obscene in hindsight. An older white man sat down a few chairs away with a cat carrier at his feet. He glanced at Tasha, then at the surgery doors. "Long night?" he asked gently. "Yes," Tasha replied. He nodded, like he understood more than he was saying. "They're good here," he added. "Saved my dog last year." Tasha wanted to believe him. She nodded because belief was easier than fear. Nearly 2 hours later, the doors opened. Dr. Collins stepped out, surgical cap still on, her mask hanging loose around her neck. Her eyes found Tasha immediately. Tasha stood before the doctor could even speak. "He's alive," Dr. Collins said, smiling slightly, "and the bleeding is under control." Tasha's knees nearly gave out. She grabbed the back of the chair to steady herself as relief hit like a wave she hadn't prepared for. "You saved him," Dr. Collins continued. "The mass had ruptured badly. If you'd waited much longer, we wouldn't be having this conversation." Tasha pressed a hand to her mouth, tears finally spilling freely now that she wasn't holding the world together by force of will. "Can I see him?" she asked. "In a bit," Dr. Collins said. "He's still coming out of anesthesia, but he's stable." Stable. The word felt like a gift. Dr. Collins hesitated, then added, "I also want you to know something." Tasha looked up. "The chart shows your appointment was logged correctly," the doctor said carefully. "The delay at reception shouldn't have happened." Tasha let out a quiet, humorless breath. "It almost did." Dr. Collins nodded once. "I've already spoken to management." That was all she said, but it was enough. When Tasha was finally allowed into recovery, the room was dimmer, quieter. Coda lay on a padded mat with a blanket over him, IV line taped neatly to his leg. His chest rose and fell slowly now, steadily. She knelt beside him and touched his paw. "Hey," she whispered. Coda's eyes fluttered open. Just for a moment. Enough. Tasha laughed through tears. "You scared me," she said softly. "Don't do that again." His tail twitched weakly, like he was trying. She stayed with him for as long as they allowed, memorizing the feel of his fur beneath her fingers, the sound of his breathing when it wasn't fighting anymore. When she finally left that night, the rain had stopped. The parking lot glistened under streetlights, clean and ordinary, like nothing inside had ever been at risk. As she drove home, exhaustion settled in deep and bone-heavy, but beneath it, something else stayed awake. clarity. The next morning, her phone buzzed with an email from Lakeside Animal Hospital Administration. Subject: follow-up regarding your visit. Tasha opened it slowly. We apologize for the confusion at check-in and are reviewing our front desk procedures. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Confusion. Reviewing. The familiar words. Tasha didn't reply right away. She looked over at Coda, sleeping on his bed, cone around his neck, breathing slow and steady. Then she opened her laptop. She wrote everything down: times, names, exact phrases. She attached screenshots of the confirmation email. She included the microchip number that had finally forced the system to acknowledge her dog existed. She didn't write with anger, she wrote with precision, because anger could be dismissed, precision could not. When she finished, she sent the document to the clinic's management email and CC'd herself. Then she closed the laptop and sat beside Coda on the floor. This time, when she rested her hand on his chest, the rise and fall felt strong, real, undeniable. The microchip hadn't just identified him, it had protected him. And Tasha knew something now that she would never forget. In places ruled by systems, you had to know where the truth lived when the front desk said no.